Camera quality is different again. No, camera quality is good actually. So, guys, we are live and we are all starting to see that what happens today. But Tushan,
Yeah, so welcome to Googly Sports, and today we're talking about the most dramatic mindset shift in Indian cricket so far, which has taken place. How doubts turn into respect, as you've seen from our thumbnail. Gautam
Mhm.
Gambhir's rise in T20 cricket. We look at how a man many people had doubted when he first entered as a coach turned Indian T20 into a very strong juggernaut and fortress.
And this is not just about results, Tushan. It is about really a whole new philosophy. Every ball counts, milestones don't. India now plays T20 like it's meant to be played aggressively,
Yeah.
fearlessly, and with depth coming from the IPL talent pool.
Yeah. And then also we'll break into Gambhir's journey, how what happened, India's recent T20 performances and stats, and how we are comparing with England, Australia, South Africa, and the big teams.
Yeah, you're right, actually. So let's start.
So let's start with the man himself, Gautam Gambhir. We all know him. He's very intense. He has a lot of incentive, combative, and always just like kind of like Kohli, like aggressiveness.
Mhm.
As a player, he was very crucial in the 2007 T20 World Cup, if I'm not wrong,
Right.
and the 2011 ODI World Cup, where he played two brilliant innings. But he never got like the recognition and fame which Dhoni and Kohli have gotten from their big performances.
Exactly, and that same intensity made many people doubt.
Yeah.
If he could handle modern dressing room egos as a coach. People feared he will be too blunt, maybe
Yeah.
too old school. Then came his success with Kolkata Knight Riders in the IPL, mentoring them to another title run,
Yeah.
so which suddenly made everyone sit up and say, "Hey, hang on, this guy can understand T20 strategy." I think Tushar, you should look in the camera. It's fine. You can still look at there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the big step, his appointment as the head coach in 2024, right after the T20 World Cup, he replaced Rahul Dravid.
Mhm.
At 42, he became the youngest head coach in Indian history.
Right.
And then this also triggered question: is he too young? Is he too experienced? Maybe he's too aggressive. Will it cause like drama in the dressing room, especially because of Kohli and Gambhir's little drama?
And actually, those doubts are exactly those doubts exactly make this story very, very special. From is he the right choice to he's built a monster T20 side. That arc, from skepticism to deep respect, is what we are exploring today, isn't it?
Yeah. And let's put on some hard numbers on this dominance season because it's not just like this narrative. India has been on the top of T20 I rankings for years, and
Mhm.
now they're firmly number one with two back to back wins in the World Cup
Right.
with a healthy rating gap over the rest of the pack.
And recent years tell a very, very clear story. In 2024, around the time of the T20 World Cup win in Caribbean, which is within West Indies and USA, India won the title without losing a match,
Yeah.
ending a long ICC trophy drought in white ball cricket. Now, across the 2024 calendar, and Toshan, this is very interesting, we have won 22 of the 26 T20Is. They played and lost only two. And that's brutal consistency in a format which is known for upsets, like we had the one last night.
Yeah, but if we stretch further, since 2023, India has put together a long streak of bilateral series wins and
Right.
multinational tournament victories, including the T20 World Cup and a dominant Asia Cup campaign where they went unbeaten and even won a super over thriller.
And we should mention the broader record, Toshan. I think over their full T20I history, India's win percentage sits north of 70%. We are above 75 or 78%, which is elite for an international cricket. And they have also piled up some of the highest total ever, including scores like close to 240, even near 300 in recent years, underlining how the batting approach has shifted.
And to add on to that, with the 240 and 300, some teams like Nepal and them, they have made like very high scores, but these are against international high ranking teams such as New Zealand in the T20 World Cup. We made 250,
Right, right.
and we're doing this consistently around. The key point here is that this isn't some lucky run. This is a sustained backed dominance in T20 where we've been showing consistent same runs, same way of playing, and same dominance.
So let's talk about what's actually changed on the field under Gambhir. The message is very simple. We are not playing for personal milestones. We are playing for the scoreboard and trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Earlier, you'd see some Indian batters slow down in the 40s, 70s, 90s, right? Because of the pressure and the playing style during that time. But now the template is completely changed.
Right, right,
From
right.
one ball, the top order goes hard, middle order keeps the tempo, and then the lower order is expected to hit, not only just survive in T20 cricket.
And you can see it in the scoring patterns. In the recent season, India have become that team with the most regularly crossing 200 in T20 Is in a calendar year,
Yeah,
and setting records for most 200 plus scores in 2024 alone. In
yeah,
fact, in the last year, I mean this year's trophy final, semi-final, we scored 254 against England,
yeah.
and I think in the final also we scored to
256.
almost 256.
Yeah.
So that frequency of 200 plus scores shows you have the batting intent.
But let's also make sure something. This aggressive template is perfectly suited to Indian and subcontinental pitches, where conditions favor stroke play. This is where we're consistently scoring 200 and 220, even pushing sometimes 240, 250. The opposition we're putting the opposition under scoreboard pressure all the time, and they keep feeling like they're behind over the sixth over. But what is the case outside?
Yeah, I think absolutely you're right, and if you just stick to the point you made that
Yeah,
yes, this is a subcontinental approach,
yeah.
and the other shift is psychological. Every ball matters. Dot balls are treated like gold. So either you are squeezing the opposition while bowling, or you are making sure you don't give too many dots while batting. That ball by ball intensity is very Gambhir, you can say. It's how he played, and now it's how India plays.
Yeah, and we can see that shift. But none of this would work without our IPL and the right talent situation. And that's where IPL has completely transformed the T20 ecosystem for us.
No, no, right, right. You're right. I totally agree that IPL has created a massive battle-hardened pool of players who face world-class bowlers and high-pressure situations every season. So by the time these guys debut, for India, they are already played in front of 50,000 people, chased 200 under lights, and faced overseas quicks at full pace.
And notice how India can now field almost two T20 11s. And by that, we mean we can have two teams of full 11s. We have specialist power play hitters, we have death hitters, mystery spinners, and all rounders. We have a great amount of depth, which means Gambhir can pick multiple players for courses and different 11s based on conditions without a very big drop in quality, which shows that our T20 depth has increased significantly.
And I agree, and also the tactical intelligence has gone up. Young Indian players are talking about matchups,
Yeah.
boundary dimensions, par scores, and run rates. The way analysts talk, that analytics mindset combined with Gambhir's no nonsense clarity is why the system looks so robust, right?
And the rankings reflect that depth which India is showing. India sits at number one in T20 eyes, with a rating that keeps them ahead of England, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Pakistan, all these strong sides currently chasing India's consistent performances.
Yeah, I think you brought a very good point. If you just look at India with few other big 20 nations, India is ranking one, right? And
Yeah.
most consistent, deep squad, recent World Cup and Asia Cup wins. Then England is also very aggressive, but a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
Australia is a big match temperament, always a difficult side to match up in big tournaments, but not as dominant in bilateral T20 eyes. Recently they lost to I think Pakistan also, and the New Zealand and South Africa are very stable, and Pakistan has a capable of brilliance, but sometimes less consistent as well.
England and Australia still play very modern T20 cricket. They have a
I
lot of
think
power.
someone is asking Mithali love by Hinidi. Yes, we are father and son. Thank you very much. Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah. England and Australia still play very modern T20 cricket. Like they have lots of power hitting, they're flexible batting orders. But India's big differentiator right now between these two big nations is the depth and volume of the options, especially because of the IPL ecosystem, which we have said before.
Absolutely. Pakistan, South Africa, New Zealand remain dangerous in any tournament, but India's record in multinational events and lately is on another level. Unbeaten runs in World Cup and Asia Cup, and
Yeah.
a strong head-to-head record against Pakistan in T20Is. above 80% win.
Yeah,
I mean,
the big rivalry. We've always been on top. Like we have lost some, but we've always been on top.
no, absolutely. I think this is a big game changer. So, uh,
So right now, if I ask you,
hmm.
who's the team to beat in T20 cricket right now? I'm not trying to show ego or anything, but the ranking and recent trophies both say that India is the main target because on the ICC leaderboard they're number one, and the last two ICC World Cups they have won twice back to back, which shows that India has a big target and a big legacy to defend right now.
Right, I think I totally agree that, and India is the team to beat by anyone. There's no team right now in the globe who will take India lightly, and in fact, it is other way around. Sometimes India might take some team lightly. Like yesterday night,
Yeah,
we had a upset win, Ireland defeating India, right?
yeah.
But okay, fine. One of defeats come, and also in the future, in the outside the subcontinent of India, but that is the point we want to talk now, that the big test is overseas tours and future of this philosophy.
Yes, and I did mention that before that in the subcontinental pitches for us, we've been doing awesome with our
Yeah,
strategy. But what would happen in the subcontinents, such as the T20 environment, such as South Africa, the pace and bounce, England with like very swing, right? They can create swingy pitches as they know our playing style, right? So this is like these are something which India should look out. Gambhir at the topic. Let's go back to Gambhir. He has to make sure that this strategy he's doing works for other places as well. And if it doesn't work, he also has to adapt.
no, absolutely. Now every philosophy looks great at home,
Yeah.
and we have proved it. The real test will be when India tour more challenging T20 environments. South Africa with its pace and bounce, England with the swing, New Zealand with tricky dimensions, Australia with fast and hard pitches, and in fact, yesterday Ireland. If you see the highlights,
Yeah.
India, because of the extra bounce, we are getting out in the air actually, and that's why we lost the match. So that's why philosophy is great, but it has to be proven in non-Indian subcontinent conditions.
Yeah, this is where Gambhir's approach will be properly examined because we realized that India is making flat pitches. But now this ultra aggressive, every ball count mindset,
Hmm.
the 200 plus mindset, will it work? Will it go far? Or will we see a more adaptable version? Will we see Gambhir maybe changing a little tactics, adapting to the pitches? As I just said, maybe 170, 180 being the target, which Ireland did last night, and they won because they made a 180 runs pitch, but with the same intent and fearlessness.
I think my sense is core mindset will stay the same.
Yeah,
No fear of failure, no obsession with personal statistics to make a half century or a
yeah,
century.
yeah,
Complete clarity of the role. The adjustment will be in shot selection and the tempo, not in the intent. Because yesterday we showed too much of intent
yeah,
and probably we chose wrong shots to play. Whatever I saw the highlights of the match, and I think Shreyas Iyer took a very lollipop over pitch ball and just put it to the deep square leg, got caught out. Ishan Kishan was trying to loft the ball from middle of the stump, which in subcontinent it would go have gone for six,
yeah.
but probably the pace and the bounce of the ball was a little bit higher on his bat. So I think we need to a little bit adjust our shot selection in outside conditions.
And don't forget now, a lot of Indian players they play IPL, right? Because they're not allowed to play leagues, other leagues.
Yeah.
And India have already won major ICC events, so the confidence to apply this template will be very high, which was shown yesterday. But overconfidence is the bad part, which I think will happen yesterday, where they had overconfident, they were a little cocky, they were like, okay, Ireland, they're a small team, we can hit and we'll score 180 in no time. That was a ruthless approach, which was not very strategic, which Gambhir, as we've been talking about, his rise, he has to maintain that rise and make sure he's able to adapt and not just be a one trick. Well, one trick means that not just go through one strategy and hope for the best, because that's not how cricket is played.
I think if we just see, of course, this was just one match yesterday. Prasidh Krishna and another bowler in the last 3 overs or 2 overs, sorry, 2 overs went for 46 runs. So it means, it's not about all about our batting power. That okay, we have great batting power of
Yeah.
Abhishek Sharma, Sanju, Ishan, Shreyas. Our bowlers also have to be careful for the line and length in overseas condition, because if they end up giving more runs, because I think yesterday's pitch was not 180, it was actually a 140, 150 pitch. We gave more runs, and that's why we struggled.
Yeah.
So our bowlers also have to adjust to outside conditions.
Hmm.
They can't just think, oh, in India they give 200 runs and still our batters chase, so we are okay, happy giving 200 runs in overseas condition. No, I don't think so. In overseas condition, the bowler should give 200 runs. So I think we need to look at this, and we have to see how it pans out.
Yeah. So if we zoom out, right, Gambhir's story is kind of like a leadership like case type study, right? It's kind of, let's say it's a case study where a coach he walked into this job and then he with question marks about his style, how he'll play, experience, and he has led a team that has won, dominates the rankings now for the
Yeah.
past 2 3 years, and plays ruthless T20 mindset, which has allowed India to go rise, and this has also made Gambhir rise in the cricket field.
Right, right, right.
This also shows how doubt can become respect, which was our thumbnail there. Respect when three things line up: a clear philosophy, the right talent pipeline, which we've seen from the IPL ecosystem, and the courage to back aggressive cricket, where our players have been courageous enough to keep hitting, and Gambhir has been supporting them. And India have all three right now, which is why they look so hard to beat.
Absolutely, I think so. You really summarized very well, Toshan. A very quick, quirky, and very fast, episode today. That a clear philosophy, which we have cooked at home right now. We need to test it outside.
Yeah,
The right talent pipeline, which we have, and the courage to back aggressive cricket. Of course, you
yeah,
have to choose right sorts of short selection, and the bowlers have to be careful also, not to sway away with the big bounce and
yeah,
swing,
yeah,
and then keep giving free runs. So we need to judge that approach. Intent should not change,
yeah,
but India also has to understand that probably they will not be able to score 240, and they should not measure their success at how many 200 plus they're scoring in outside India condition. They should still measure the success by their intent and by winning more trophies outside,
yeah.
but little bit calibrating their mindset, right?
I think India should focus on this thing where success is not making 240, and they have to also change their approach. They cannot always say if we didn't make 240, we didn't do good, because that approach is also too harsh, right? So we have to first focus a little bit on our bowling outside conditions as we've seen. But let's bring this back to Gambhir, where he had a lot of doubts when he came in, and then he brought a new strategy to Indian cricket, where from 150, 160 runs per like T20 runs and 200 being a very high score, he's put the boundary up, especially in our Indian and subcontinent pitches. And if this strategy keeps working, I think India will continue to dominate. But he has to adapt, and he still has a lot of time. He still has to learn a lot, and he should not get overconfident.
In fact, yesterday, if I look at the one case example, India batted second to chase.
Yeah,
And they thought that 180, they will chase in 14 overs, the way they were going. 7 overs, 80 for three. They thought I will chase in 14, 15, 16 overs. So they have checked that in chase they fumbled. Now the real test will be also again, how do they take up their first innings?
yeah,
If they bat first,
yeah,
if they are only able to score 165 or 170, then they should not feel that, oh, we are not able to score 240, so our ultra aggressive approach is gone. Sometimes it will happen. So it
yeah.
means overseas the success will not only come by batters, it will come also by bowlers, because in subcontinent all the success is coming mostly because of batters who are scoring 250 and closing the game.
Yes, and yeah, this is true. Where this the batters are actually scoring and the bowlers don't have any pressure.
Yeah.
So on that note, we'll wrap up today's episode or live session on Googly Sports. Let us know, do you think Gambhir template is sustainable overseas? Because the first match we've seen is not as sustainable so far. Or will teams like England and Australia, will teams like them find a way to crack it and find some weaknesses, which we talked about last time, that fortress we built in India in the of the Test cricket cracked? Will this same thing happen, or will India build a bigger fortress?
Absolutely. So now India is into overseas tours. After Ireland, we have England. Then we have also other overseas tour coming outside India.
Yeah,
So probably we will be able to see how India shapes up and calibrates their at least the white ball strategy,
yeah,
because India is going to play T20s, India is going to play ODIs, and I think from 1st July, after this Ireland match is going to happen, I think tomorrow on Sunday, we have the England T20
yeah,
matches
yeah.
coming up, which will be even bigger challenge because England is definitely far superior side than Ireland. And if Ireland has beaten us, then definitely some ring bells for the India team.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for listening. and we will be back with more deep dives into the world of cricket. Maybe we'll come with a ODI, or maybe we'll summarize the series of Ireland. But thank you for listening, guys, and we'll come next Saturday or Sunday.
And please do drop a note that last time we did an
Test.
episode on is India's Test empire falling. You gave a great response. We got a lot of views, and that was very good to see. And please do drop your comments on this episode, and please drop in the comments what you want us to analyze.
Yeah.
Should we analyze more of the teams, go into deep into players? Also give your comments. Of course, we'll come from our side what we feel is relevant,
Yeah.
and what Toshan will bring up the new episode. This was his plan to talk about the rise of Gambhir's philosophy, and it was a good discussion. See you again.
Yep. See you again.
हमारे कैमरे का मुझे लग रहा है प्रॉब्लम